in my yard and don't think that they got far. I got a 4-5 and it really bangs hard. Although 911, I think an alien. I blew up over my house, now a million.
All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. We're going to talk about some wild stuff today, including they're building a massive, massive structure around the White House to protect it from whatever we don't know about going on the 20th. Now, the 20th is fast approaching. We now have less than 5 days, now 4 days to go until this huge, huge event. I mean, this is crazy. It's one of the most controversial days out there, especially since the attempt on the life of the next prez. And of course, of every bit of the dividing, nature that the entire country has right now. And it's going to be actually quite a strange day. On top of all of the rumors and chatter about that day, which are very unnerving, there's kind of some weird facts here about the actual day itself. They actually are comparing this day and how cold it will be to two very specific inaugurations. One being Reagan's and two being JFK's, both in which were the only other ones that had this extremely cold temperatures for. So as far as T-Man, you've got this polar vortex moving in with everywhere besides some of the highest mountains in Hawaii. Almost all 50 states will be, below freezing or around that temperature, right? And at the same time, this is something that hasn't happened. We've got this crazy, crazy weather going on, and then, of course, inauguration. Back in Reagan's day, and I did not know this, Dex actually told me this, is back in Reagan's day, it was so cold that they actually moved people inside midway through. And I had a thought about that, considering the amount of security that's going on with this whole event. Could something happen that's unexpected, like everybody's so cold that they end up changing the plan last minute and then have, some sort of stupid gap like, oh, well, we did have everything checked out, but then we moved inside and we actually didn't have coverage on that door, or, oh, we totally forgot to check the, roof across the street or something stupid like that. I don't know, but it is pretty wild. And again, it says it is the first one since Reagan, and after that it was JFK. So is there going to be anything quite weird with this? Obviously, all three of those presidents ended up having either attempts at their life or they are no longer around. So pretty crazy and a weird coincidence. Now, before we move on, make sure to go check out Jace if you haven't already. This is a great affiliate that we have. This is a kit that has all of your most prescribed emergency antibiotics. Now, this is a great little kit. You can get it from the comfort of your couch with a board-certified doctor at your disposal on your phone, quick telehealth appointment, and then you have yourself all of the antibiotics, and you can even add on things like albuterol or emergency inhalers. They also do something called Jace Daily, which is actually a 12-month extended supply of your prescription meds. So go check it out. Again, it helps support our independent channel at the same time as it gets you prepped for any disaster. It doesn't have to be the end of the world for these to kick in. Any kind of event where you wouldn't have a hospital or you wouldn't be able to access a pharmacy, that is more likely than not. So again, marfugglenews.com/Jace, and make sure to use the code MARF, not only to get a discount, but also to help independent as well. All right, let's bring in my co-internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So remember, every article here and everything that we're going to show you here today has a full bibliography over on our website. You go over there, you'll see warnings of massive event, what could happen January 20th, and you will see all of the articles attached. Anything that like a tweet or picture is going to be there. So the T-Man inauguration security fears as concrete barriers and fencing surround a ring of steel around the White House. Now, some odd things actually happened over the last 4 years where people got kind of up there, kind of worried at some points because they did have these kind of weird structures, but that they said that those structures were actually kind of centered around remodeling, or they were doing construction, this or that. This is specifically being put up in security for a security purpose for the inauguration. So is there something that we don't know? There are a lot of rumors and a lot of chatter going on, especially today, about a possible event happening on the 20th. Now, par for the course, how crazy has it been that day that would be a humongous day, and I believe that people would remember it forever. So I think that the bad guys usually try to pick a date that is important to them, not important to us. But again, this would be something that the American people would never forget, because it is always on the 20th. It is always something that we have to do every time we bring in somebody new. So this kind of day would mean a lot. And again, it means a lot to us. And that's what makes you think if something did happen, you would go, oh, well, what if it's not the bad guys, right? It could be somebody else, letter agency or something like that tries to do something because they think that we think that this is an important day, when in reality, the real bad guys pick the most obscure days that are actually important to them. All of these terror groups and things like that, they actually pick really, really off-the-wall numbers. I did not know that until that Sarah Adams interview with Sean Ryan. I didn't think about that, really. I always thought, like, oh, there's all these days you would think it would happen on and nothing happens. And the days that it does happen, you're like, what the heck? Like 2001, when that happened, that was based on a day from a long time ago. But when you actually look at all of the things that happened, including all of the train events, the big explosives, all of the days actually coincided with something much more obscure than you would actually think. Nothing that actually had importance to us. It had importance to them. So think about that. It is also why we always get hyped up around these big events, because we think something big is going to happen on our event, but it's usually on theirs. But this event does have significance to the world. This is when the next president, this president which has so many enemies now, is going to be in office. Dex, these huge concrete barriers are going in, and now people are really getting nervous that they have information that we don't, like something big is about to go down.
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, these are non-scalable fencing, huge concrete barriers. The hefty stone blockades were installed all the way around the residence there in the early hours of this morning. So I guess they're calling it a ring of steel and hoping it's going to keep the Don safe at the ceremony.
And I apologize. It is not a ring of steel around a white hoe. That it just cut it off, I think. But you guys got the point. And of course, these trucks have been basically delivering these things overnight, and through the last 48 hours, they've been building up these huge structures around the whole thing. Are they planning this? Is something odd going to happen here? It is very unnerving to see this kind of thing put up. Dex, has there been other presidents that they have done this? Do you remember? Because I don't remember this happening for all of the other presidents.
Yeah, I don't recall it over in Og, but definitely we've seen it during, like the Summer of Love, like when everybody was doing stuff out in the streets, we saw all sorts of things pop up and temporary fencing and other barriers put up. But and certainly they've, I guess over the years have upgraded the perimeter around the White House. But it seems like now is a much different time than it's been in the past.
Well, the donations for this, they said that the private donations are typically used to help these over $200 million so far supposedly raised by the end of this effort, typically used to help pay for events surrounding the inauguration, such as costs related to the oath of office ceremony itself, along with a parade and a glitzy inaugural balls. Money left over from the inaugural committees is expected to be used for future T-Man presidential library, according to the person. And I hate to say it, and I'll throw criticism any which way. It is crazy to me that $200 million, something like that, is thrown into, say, some sort of thing like this. Or it's so crazy to see how much money that they actually spend on things like this. Now, the only reason I'm saying this is they're hiring Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency or whatever. Are things like that actually a good use of money? Now, anybody that's going and wants to have fun, yeah, I believe they probably would. Or these people that go to the balls and have a great time. But is that actually a good use? $200 million to any one of us, or to even a group of us or a neighborhood of us, that's a whole lot of money. That kind of money gets sent overseas. It's a giant deal. This kind of money is being spent possibly on a single day. Now, some of these things, they do cost a lot of money. Will this day cost, that much. They're not saying that for all of this, but this is for the general, money raised for this thing. I was surprised when reading this initially that it wasn't going to say at the end, well, whatever's left over is going to go to a charity or something like that. Dex, go ahead.
Well, at the end of the day, this is donations. So it's a lot of big ticket donors and a lot of individual donors, but it's not taxpayer money. So, if it was, and don't get me wrong, taxpayer money is
to a billionaire
paying for a lot of this because there's a lot of security and other things. It's just standard, the normal procedure. But all the extra pomp and circumstance or the parties or all the stuff they want to do, that's, the other side did the same thing. They all do it. They raise the money, and they raise far more money on the other side than ever. Like what?
I'm not hating. I'm not hating on this.
Yeah.
Or Kamala doing paying $8 million for Eminem to say hi.
Right.
Well, what I'm saying is, in general, and again, you have to spend that, and he shouldn't spend his own money, and potentially you would pay taxpayer dollars for something like this, for an event for the actual country, because it's all part of the system, right? But my point is they raise $200 million for something like this, for Hawaii and things like this, and North Carolina. I'm just surprised that more stuff like that isn't done, that we are so able to raise money just as general as a country for some of the craziest things. Like this, there's a video game that has like $800 million raised already. That's like a open world game or something. And I'm thinking, gosh, $800 million. What could that do for the world? What could that do for certain places in the world and make the world better? I'm just saying, that's all I'm saying. But as far as this goes, this is probably chump change compared to what the other side does. But also the overpricing of things for the government. So if the government is ordering these barriers, what do you want to bet that these concrete companies or the people that are doing these barriers are charging them the absolute maximum amount? It's just crazy to me how much money all of this kind of stuff costs. The private flights, the constant private flights by almost everybody in every office. It's insane. And then we have TikTok CEO actually plans to attend this thing. Even though on the 19th, TikTok is supposed to be basically done, now a lot of people think that this thing is going to be extended. Dex, so there's rumors that, the Dawn might actually help them extend, which is kind of nuts too.
Yeah, he has been considering issuing an executive order to suspend the enforcement of the shutdown for 60 to 90 days to give it a little bit more time. Of course, as we reported, the U.S. Supreme Court seemed inclined to uphold the law that would force the sale or the ban of TikTok. So sort of waiting on what the Supreme Court is going to say about it as well. That's also up in the air. But I think he is inclined to give this extension. At least that's what they're saying. He hasn't officially said that yet.
And of course, not a lot of young people are happy about the TikTok ban. But we'll see what ends up happening with it. There's still days left. It seems to me like every big thing like this where we're going to see something go away, something happens last second. This is a big money app. Somebody is going to get, greased, and then all of a sudden something's going to happen. It might be saved or something. If it doesn't, there is something interesting happen right now. Dex, did you hear about an app called Red Note? Have you heard about this yet?
Oh, yeah. I've heard a lot of people bailing and running over to Red Note.
So Red Note is a Chinese app, and I suggest personally that you don't download it. But there's a lot of people, even big people that are in this space that are downloading it just to say F you to the man. And I don't see why you would ever put something like that on. Red Note is a Chinese app that's like TikTok, but even worse in my opinion as far as like the gray areas that it has in its stuff. But they are all doing that because they believe TikTok is going to be gone. So now you have an app that directly has Chinese citizens and United States citizens both on it making videos together, right? And I'm thinking if these people actually live in China and then they are actually coinciding, what is that app going to be like? And how fast is the CCP going to stop half of the stuff that actually still goes on? Because as you guys know, Red Note, if that is allowed in China, that is unlike TikTok. TikTok is not allowed in China, where it is allowed in the United States. They own an app that they won't even have in their own country. And then could a stock trading ban for Congress get new life in the T-Man era? Now, there's been several attempts at this. As you guys know, I have talked about this a lot. I know we together have talked about this as far as the Congress doing the inciting trading and magical trades the night before something huge gets announced. Or, the minute it gets announced, they've already had all of their trades in, or they sell all their stuff right before a massive, horrible tragedy happens. This has been going on for a very long time, and there's nothing technically. There's like a super gray area where many of these congressmen and representatives get away with it. If you think that people are buying $12,000 dresses to complain on the congressional floor, if you think they're getting that from their salary, then you're wrong. Go Google their salary or DuckDuckGo it, and you will quickly see somebody even making as much as they do would not spend 8% of it on a frickin' dress. Okay, there's money coming from somewhere else, and it's usually from some sort of trading or some sort of backdoor deals or getting their pockets greased to get some freaking law passed or to support a law so that a company or corporation can, profit from it. But these trades, they're talking about possibly banning them again. And as far as this goes, people think that there's a lot of faith that under Donald that it will happen, right? Or that it's actually gaining popularity. Dex, I personally don't think this will happen because, these guys secretly, they are making a ton of money off of this stuff. We know they
No way.
It's not going to happen.
No, I mean, you've got a few people that are going to come in and be like, yeah, let's do this. And, these are like no-namers, so to speak. But they probably haven't been in on the trade side of things. But when you think about them passing a law like this, it would require them all to agree to it. And why would they all agree to unline their pockets? These are career politicians who make millions and millions of dollars at it. I just can't imagine. I mean, it would be ideal. I would love to see it. It would be nice if they said, hey, at least we'll do it, and we'll do it 20 years from now, but we'll sign it now so it doesn't affect our pocketbook today. But maybe in the future, the world will be a much cleaner place. I don't know how you're going to get them to sign it. There's just no way I could imagine, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, these guys are all, making money left and right. They don't make it off the salary they get paid to be in D.C.
And a lot of people were talking about Pelosi most recently and the United Healthcare CEO when he perished. The United Healthcare, the group was about to be probed for possible insider trading or something like that, right? As this happens, and a lot of people, a side theory was that this was kind of to wipe any kind of loose ends away, right? Well, I don't think that door is truly closed, and they made it look so obvious, like somebody who absolutely hated the insurance company. I mean, it just looked like it was scripted out of a movie. But with this being said, now this is popping up shortly after everybody was talking about this again. I mean, is it just because so many people were talking about how this is happening? If you remember right before they announced, during the whole CV days, the cough, during that, right when they announced all of the things would be mandatory, or I forget what it was. It was the same month that more money was made. There were more billionaires made in that 1 month than ever in history, and almost all of them were in medicine, if you catch my drift. And during that same time, they announced this thing, and what happened is they looked at all of these politicians and they did a massive trade. I forget what it was. Dex, do you remember if they sold their stocks right before it happened or if they bought a bunch of stocks that related to what the government was about to go out to everybody?
Well, I think during CV they all started buying early, and I think in other opportunities they've certainly sold when they knew something was about to change.
Yeah, and that was just one example. This is happening all the time. I mean, do you think that every congressional member or all of these guys, the actual net worth of some of these people are just so astronomical? And even if they've been in 50 years in office, their $200-something thousand or $300,000 salary does not account for that. It would all be like every Congress member is just an amazing prodigy investor, right? Or people are cheating the system and people are totally, insider trading. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to share this out with your friends and family. I would highly recommend in the next 4 days, be head on a swivel and make sure that you are being safe. Have food, water, and medicine for this entire time, even beyond the 20th. We all need to be really, really, really vigilant right now. Dex, go ahead.
James Archie from Chicago, longtime listener. Much respect to what you do, Chicagoans, for the dawn. Thank you, James Archie and Ron Lowry. Watch for the numbers that have an occult meaning, says. Thanks again for the chat there.
Interesting video just came out about what the XAI actual name is. I thought that was pretty interesting. And that he's, again, pushing the everything app. Buy, sell, pretty much everything on this one app. And even Grok itself related the app, or gave an example of what an app like that would be. And their example was WeChat, which Elon has actually said before, it's a great app. Like, it does everything. You can buy with your phone. You can sell with your phone. You can ride the bus with your phone. You can obviously call with your phone. You can rent with your phone. You can do everything with your phone. It is your social security number. And guess how they register it? With your palm and your veins. That's what Grok's answer was. And it's like, I wonder if it has to be on your right hand. That would be pretty interesting. All right, you guys have a great night, and we'll see you in just a few minutes over on our other channel. If you want to join us, all you have to do is stay in the chat. You want to see the rest of the news, then make sure to stick around. If you are watching the replay, all you have to do to get to today's full news, all of the rest that's going on, is click right here. We'll see you in just a moment. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.
I'm running to my yard and don't think that they got far.